What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs. Do you consider yourself a religious person? It looks like the American public is becoming less religious, at least by some key measures of what it means to be a religious person to most people. A recent survey of almost 40,000 U.S. adults finds that the percentage who say they believe in a higher power, pray daily, and go to church or other religious services have all declined in recent years. As far as people saying they're religious, well, that's sort of stayed the same or maybe even went up a fraction. A lot of millennials say they're religious. They just prefer not to get a church or any other type of house of worship involved. They'd rather do it themselves. Today's video is about the least religious states, a subject that has been requested an ungodly amount of times. This list is from the most recent survey by Pew Research. I was surprised by the numbers, and I was really surprised at what the last 3 states were. You probably will be too. All right, let's take a look. Number 10. Hawaii. For over 1,000 years, Hawaiians were doing great. I mean, the Polynesians had found them about 1,500 years ago, and then missionaries showed up in Hawaii in the early 1800s. They tried to convert all the Hawaiians to Christianity. It worked for some, not all. They also discouraged many Hawaiians from cultural practices and encouraged the spread of English. The English one, I guess, is the only one that really stuck. The survey reports that only 47% of Hawaiians consider themselves very religious. Only 62% of them say they believe in God with absolute certainty, and only 28% of them say they attend worship services at least weekly. Number 9. New York State. New York State has a lot of people and a lot of churches. The Archdiocese of New York is the second largest in the United States by population, encompassing 296 parishes that serve 2.8 million Catholics, in addition to hundreds of Catholic schools, hospitals, and charities. Now, that's just the Catholic side of it. They have all the Muslim and Jewish places, along with everything else. I only gave the Catholic numbers because I could find those numbers. I couldn't find the exact numbers for everyone else, or I would have included those too. But outside of New York City, in the more rural parts, you're going to have a higher percentage of people that consider themselves very religious. But since there's so many people living in New York City, their numbers show up like this. Only 46% say that they are very religious, 56% say they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and 29% say they attend worship services at least weekly. Number 8, Alaska. Doesn't look like Alaska really goes big on religion. They're probably too busy, dodging wildlife on the highway, killing insects, waiting for cruise ships, and fishing. To give you an idea how far away these are from the most religious states, some states in this country, 80% of the residents consider themselves very religious. Not Alaska, they're blazing their own trail. 45% of the residents of Alaska consider themselves very religious. 55% say they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and 30% say that they attend worship services at least weekly. Number 7, Washington State. The Evergreen State has never been accused of being over-religious. Matter of fact, if you see some of the things that go on in Seattle, you might think God is ignoring this place. Either that or whoever's in charge of affordable housing. 44% of the residents in the Evergreen State consider themselves very religious. 55% say they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and 30% say they attend worship services at least weekly. Number 6, Wisconsin. This one surprised me. Wisconsin is one of the best states to raise a family in, and being religious and a good place to raise a family usually go hand in hand, a majority of the time, I'd say. But here's Wisconsin at number 6. 44% of the population consider themselves very religious. 56% say that they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and 27% say they attend worship services at least weekly. That's not a lot, especially for a place like Wisconsin. That one surprised me. Number 5, Connecticut. If you've ever visited Hartford, you'd probably start praying as you walk down the street. Outside of Hartford, it's a great state. Hartford, yeah, not so much. Connecticut is our first New England state, but if you talk to anyone else from other states in New England, they actually consider it part of New York. Or at least they wish it would become part of New York. 43% of the residents of Connecticut consider themselves very religious. 54% say they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and only 28% say that they attend worship services at least weekly. Number 4, Maine. Maine is beautiful. Amazing landscapes, clean air, beautiful coastlines, and wonderful people that really don't go too deep into religion. Only 34% of Maine considers themselves very religious, 48% say that they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and 22% say that they attend worship services at least weekly. 22%. I wonder how much the snow counts, because it snows a bunch in Maine. I wonder if that affects how often they get to church. Who knows? These people are more into Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Dungeons and Dragons. Number 3, Vermont. Look at that. It's like a trifecta of New England states. And we're not done with New England states. I don't know what's going on in New England, but they've pretty much turned their back on the whole religion thing, I guess. Vermont, like Maine, is just absolutely beautiful. The people are decent. And again, they don't go into the religion thing too much. Only 34% consider themselves very religious. 41% say that they believe in a God with absolute certainty, which that is the second lowest number on this list. And 21% say that they attend worship services at least weekly, and that is the absolute lowest number in that category. Number 2, Massachusetts. You would think a state with two of their nicknames being the Puritan state and the Pilgrim state, they'd be all about religion. Granted, the Puritans and the Pilgrims were here hundreds of years ago, but that type of thing sticks with a location for quite some time. Not Massachusetts. Only 33% of the population consider themselves very religious. Only 40% say that they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and only 23% say that they attend worship services at least weekly. And no, a Red Sox game does not count as going to church. And when the Patriots win, it's not a religious event. Knock it off. Quit acting like that. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we got another channel called On This Day. There's a link down below. If you feel like going to check it out, we'd really appreciate it. And also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Help please the YouTube algorithm. All right, on to number 1. And number 1. New Hampshire. Who saw this one coming? The last 5 were New England, well, 4 and Connecticut. I really thought New Hampshire would be a religious state, just knowing what I know about its history and the fact that a lady swore she was going to put a curse on me. She's from New Hampshire, and it was because I said something bad about New Hampshire in a video. Is putting a curse on someone considered a religious act? I don't know. She was angry. Anyway, moving on. Not a lot of people go for religion in New Hampshire. Matter of fact, just like Massachusetts, only 33% consider themselves very religious. 43% say that they believe in a God with absolute certainty, and only 22% say they attend worship services at least weekly. Not a lot of Bible reading going on in New Hampshire. All right, that's today's video. I'd had questions why I didn't do anything like this. This is just the stat about what's going on in states. I'm not making any judgment about anything religious whatsoever. You do you. Worship or don't worship however you see fit. That, I think, will lead to a very happy and fulfilling life. All right, everyone, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget all the links below. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.